All right, welcome to Taxonomy Tuesday. My name's Chris. I'll be the host this evening. We do show and tell style, so we could learn more about the ones we do know and learn something about the ones we don't. I saw Hunter and now Dave have some stuff. One of you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Sure. In fact, if I can go before 7:30, that would be good.
All right. Now, is it easier to bring it up on my screen and then share?
Yeah, I've sent you Mushroom Observer observations.
Yes.
So you would have to be logged into Mushroom Observer in order for the links to work. And if you have any difficulty, once you get to an observation, there are some little things to know about that I can help with. But when I tried to share my own screen here, it just never seemed to work.
Entire screen. Do you guys do window or entire screen?
Entire screen. I normally do.
All right. Share. Are we getting this?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there we go. So we got a few lichens here. Karen's here. She might be able to shed some light on some of this. I'll just hand it over to you. Let me just put it in full screen view. So it's not on mute.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, this is Myelochroa. Myelochroa. This is pretty new to me. I think this is only the second time I've found this.
Oh, no.
And I don't know what am I supposed to say about it?
Say why you think it is what it is. What's that screen?
We've lost.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Well, it matches the description in the key. That's why I don't know how else. I don't know how else to describe it.
There's some detail that's important.
I forget what it was.
Okay. I remember. There's these little roughened areas where it looks like stuff is trying to protrude from the surface. This view, you don't see it. And that one, there's just a couple of little pimple-like things. But there's another one. Not that one. There's little, what are those rhizomes, right? You call those rhizomes?
The little threads that extend from the bottom of the.
Yeah, there's some rhizomes there, but that's a lot of lichens.
Rhizines.
A lot of rhizines. A lot. There we are. So what would this lichen be? Is this foliose? Or
Yes.
It's foliose. So a lot of foliose lichens have those bristly rhizomes on the underside. But you see there, do you see these little roughened areas that looks like they're trying to break through the surface? That I remember. That was what was supposedly a key feature for this species, or is it the whole genus that's like that?
Actually, I don't know any of the other species in that genus.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of it has Cerena on those little clusters of.
Those are Cerena?
Yeah. And
Okay.
A lot of lichens have that, but it's a combination of the Cerena, the color, the texture of the surface, and other little features that it might have.
And this picture is pretty true to the color also, because I just look. Now, do you see this little apothecium? That's part of some other lichen, probably. There was another lichen underneath this one, I think.
Yeah, I never did look at that.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, we didn't try to figure that one out.
It's a different species.
But do you see these like roughened areas? So that's Ceridia. They're like breaking, looks like they're breaking through the surface. So I don't know. I think is Jason here?
I don't see him yet.
Oh,
Is this
okay.
grown on wood?
That is that the one I got at Back Mountain?
Yeah, I
That
think
was
so.
that was on rock. This species is usually on wood, but it can also grow on rock. Some lichens are not very fussy.
Yeah. What's the date on this one? There should be a date on the Mushroom Observer. The 13th. Yeah, that was the one you got in Back Mountain because that's the 15th was all the other ones. Okay. Yeah. This was on a rock.
Cool. We'll go to the next one.
Yeah, there's more lichens. Oh, so this one's pretty interesting. With I proposed Graphis scripta, but there's a few other proposal names, and actually this is also on INAT. And if you look at the ID proposals that are down below the photos, you'll see that some of the other names that I proposed. You have to go a little lower, I guess. Is it? I think
It's
you'll
all the
see
way
it.
down. Oh, maybe on the right here.
Oh, it's Bob.
Littoriana radiata.
Hello. Hi, Bob. Good.
Yeah, there should be like 3 proposals.
Well,
So
you're
there's
right in the middle of Taxonomy Tuesday.
there's one called I think it's like Phaeoscripta.
Graphis.
I'm sorry, Phaeographis. Yeah, that one is a really interesting proposal because this thing looks like the pictures look like that, and this picture doesn't really show much. This is just
Yeah,
showing.
can we blow it up a little bit?
Yeah, go through the photos because we've got some close-ups of these little thingies. Karen knows what they're called. She just took a phone call. So a little bit
I would-
closer. So I zoomed in a little more. Zoomed. Now you get pretty close here. And actually, if you click the little square in the upper right, and then of the photo, and then click Show Original Image, which is in the bottom left, and then when you click Show Original Image, you'll get like a different version of the same photo, and when you click on that, it'll enlarge a little bit. And you can see these. Yeah, there. Click right there. Now click that, and it'll enlarge a little bit. There we go. Very good. Thank you. So look at these little like octopus-looking things.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't look like Graphis scripta to me.
No, I don't think it is, but it's that was sort of the Occam's razor sort of guess, because we have a lot of that around here.
Right.
If it's this Phaeographis thing, which it looks more like that, really, honestly, then that would be a pretty rare find in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
so
so-
we're hoping to get some feedback on this.
He's discussing one of our finds. So right now, he's kind of engaged.
Yeah, so these things are kind of like raised up a little bit. Karen, what are those things called on this Graphis scripta looking thing?
I'm sorry. What? Okay. As long as he emails you, yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that last
Here, this picture is really good. Do that same enlarging thing again on this one.
Oh, the black things?
Yeah, what are
They're
those?
called lirellae.
Lirellae.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or lirellae or lirellae.
Lirellae. So if you enlarge this photo, this one shows them pretty well.
How do I get it?
Pretty cool looking, yeah, down there, and then just click on the photo now, and it should enlarge at least a little bit. This was cropped quite a bit, so
This one doesn't want to do it.
nah, that's because it's too cropped. Okay,
yeah, if it's too cropped, it won't zoom.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, but you can see pretty well here these little octopus looking things, lirellae. All right,
And was this on? Do you know what kind of tree that this was
yeah, it was
on?
on birch.
Yeah, something with lenticels, right? So it's like those lenticels are kind of busting through.
Yeah, right here.
Oh,
these
okay.
boughs.
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
here.
yeah. Very good. Yeah, yeah. This was on yellow birch, which
So
is
is it-
sometimes incorrectly called gray birch. I don't know the Latin name for the yellow birch. Ah, there we are. There's a real. Ah, there we are. Nice close up of these things. This one was through a loop, I believe.
Did you tell them that, like, if it's Phaeographis, that's not even listed on the
Yeah,
key for Pennsylvania?
it's not even listed in the book for Pennsylvania lichen. If it's
No,
this,
it's a key.
Oh,
It's James
key.
Lendemer's key.
oh, James Lendemer's key, right? And he is the expert on lichens in Pennsylvania.
Which is why I kind of doubt that it's Phaeographis.
Yeah, that's why
But it
Karen
would be
thinks
really
it's
cool
not
if it
that.
was.
But it really, the photos I've looked at of this Phaeographis thing, it looks like this.
Yeah, and I have I don't know. I've never keyed.
Yeah, I thought maybe
never
Jason
keyed it
would
out.
be here.
But again, like Graphis scripta, those what are they? Lirellae?
Lirellae.
Yeah, these, like you said, these are more like octopuses, right? Like they radiate out from one.
Yeah, they're more organized into these little, these little sunburst octopus
and
things.
less like hieroglyphs, right?
Less like hieroglyphs. Yes, and that's a good description of what they look like in Graphis scripta. There it is on the tree. You can see it's a pretty fairly mature yellow birch. So that was a pretty interesting find.
Yeah, cool one.
Really cool.
We didn't take a sample home, but I think I'm going to send an email to James Lendemer because he's a member of this PABS thing that I'm in, and he has already said, like, he will field questions about lichens. I don't want to bother him about too much stuff, but this one is pretty interesting. So I think he might be interested in this one.
Even shy of that, shoot it over to Jason in an email.
Oh, right, absolutely.
If he doesn't
Yeah,
show
we
up
should
later,
do
you
that.
can just
Yeah,
shoot
maybe
him an
Dorothy
email.
also. I'll copy
Yeah,
Dorothy.
Dorothy, tag them in a comment. They'll take a look.
Right.
The
Yes, I will do that.
the other stuff off to the right in this picture, that other dark flat thing, that's I'm pretty sure New York's scale wart.
Oh.
Yeah, is that
that
different
like
from
a-
a liverwort? Scale wart and liverwort, two different things, right? Is that right?
Is that this?
Yeah, that stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, Brandon, I don't know that level of detail without going and looking it up, but
So what
Yeah.
sort of organism is that? Is that a liverwort or a lichen or?
well, it's a scale wart. If I don't know if that's
Oh.
part of liverworts or what, but it's not a
No.
lichen. It's something else.
Okay, it's not a
Scale
lichen.
wart. Yeah. It's a little green plant. If you get really close, you can see little green lobes, but you cannot begin to see that with the naked eye.
Oh, okay. I know where this tree is, and it's a place that I go a lot. So this is not like a mushroom.
Yeah.
This will stay like this for a while. So
Oh yeah, that stuff's around all the time. It sometimes I guess gets some sort of fruiting on it, but it's quite interesting because you don't, unless you really look at the tree, you don't really even realize that it's something growing on the tree.
yeah, I have a pretty good idea where this tree is, and it's right alongside a trail. We should be able to find it.
I think there's a 70% chance thereabout that other stuff is the Graphis scripta. I would lean towards that.
Well, that's Karen's opinion.
Yeah.
Because that's a common lichen around here.
Yeah. But fun to see. I don't see it very often.
I think that the next one's also a lichen. Ah, right, yeah. Parmotrema stuppeum. That's a new name for me. Have you found that before? Parmotrema
I
stuppeum?
think I've found it once.
Once,
And I'm
okay.
not 100% sure.
So this has Cerena also, right? These like
The powdery, like right along the edge. of the lobe.
The edges
That
of the lobes that
covering-
are sticking up. Yeah, you see the ones that are like protruding toward us. Yeah, they have Ceridia on them. Some of them at least. So it's like these little grains, this little grainy stuff. I think if you keep going through the photos, there'll be a few that are taken through a loop, and you can see that a little bit better. It's hard to capture these lichens.
Oh, you got
Oh,
that
there
one.
we are.
That's a
There you
good
can see
shot.
it. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Pretty good. You can see what I'm talking about at least. These Ceridia.
Like
That was on
a
wood,
little
right?
sugar on there.
Yeah, that
Sugar.
it was on a piece of wood that was on a piece of bark that had fallen off the tree. It was not just on the ground.
It was on the ground, but it was attached to bark that had fallen off a tree. Yeah. So there's yet another photo of those. Aren't too bad. They're through a loop. You can see a fair amount of detail.
Can I see the Graphis scripta looking one more time? I had a question. So, the name of the little black things, you guys have a name for that?
Lirellae, you said?
L-I-R. I forgot how to spell it.
L-I-R.
Lirellae.
Lirellae.
I don't
Lirellae.
have the
Karen's
materials
looking
in
it
front
up.
of me.
And so are those raised then?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, they're
okay.
slightly raised. Yeah.
Okay.
All of the other pale stuff is really just plastered right on the bark. And those things are raised a little bit.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, because some of the other pictures online, it almost looked like those were cracks in the background.
No, they're raised. They're not
Yeah,
in
Got it.
depressions. Those are raised up a little bit.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I think so. Brandon's here. Good that Brandon's here because Brandon, you know a little bit about these things, these types of things. The word's not even in the Lichen book. Oh, jeez. So I got some micro of this. I also got some photos of these black raised dot things through a loop. And it looks like they're pretty old, actually. And it looks like they're sort of protruding through the bark. This was on beach. I was looking around for that kiwi bubbles thing. I don't think I found any of those, unless if this is an old one of those, which I don't think it is.
Not out of the question if it's on beach, because you can see those kind of, if you look at the one in the upper left on that last shot,
Yeah.
you can see those holes, right?
The seeds in the kiwi.
Yeah, the seeds.
Yeah,
in the kiwi.
I wondered if that's what I was seeing.
And then
No,
the
I
one
got
on
some.
and then the one on the left. Well, the one on the left is over mature, so everything's gone. But
Right.
and just possibly that could be it.
I got some spores though today. I crushed one of these and put some alcohol on it, and it I think I found a few spores because I found like 7 things that looked the same, in my little crush mount, and I didn't smash any. I should have edited this for brightness. I just did this a little while ago because you can't see it really well in the lower right. There's that hot dog looking thing. Oh. Technical terms. Yeah. There's more photos of things that look like those. But I can look up what is it, diatribe or whatever, the genus. It looks like they're septate also. Yeah, we'll
Diatribe
get to that.
fluorescens.
Yeah. So these spores are also septate. They have 1 or 2 septa.
Yeah, it looks like these have 2s.
Yeah, I will tell you the word. Yeah, well, they have two sections, but I think the septa are just the divisions, just the walls. Some of them have two though, and some of them have one. It's yeah, it looks like that one up there has two, or maybe even three. One in the up, but I think these must be spores because I found enough of them. That it's not just some random piece of debris or something. That got in there.
Yeah, those
Look at the
look like
tips too.
look like ascospores to me.
Yes, yes. So I'll have to look up this, what the spores look like for this diatribe, and hopefully maybe I'll get some sort of match. And if not, at least I have this to go on. And because I just did these photographs a little while ago, and
On a smash mount, you said, right?
yeah, you know what I did, and I didn't smash any slips either. So what I did was I just popped one of those things off, or just like the top part of it, really got it onto a slide, put on some alcohol, just like slightly diluted rubbing alcohol, let it sit there for a little while, put a little more alcohol on because it evaporates real fast. And then I took a razor blade and just chopped it all up really fine and tried to move some of the bigger, crustier looking pieces off of the slide. And then I put a bunch of water on, just distilled water, a good amount from a dropper. So I'd be able to get some kind of seal underneath the slip. And yeah, and that seemed to work. I was able to find some spores. So
Nice.
yeah, so I'll see if it would have been better if I did this yesterday, but I was trying to get our taxes done yesterday. And this one, the micro didn't work. I smashed one of these 3 times. I smashed one of these little brown things. Also on beach, I believe. I believe this is also on beach. And I just couldn't find anything that looked useful. So got some photos though of the actual
Well, that's
fruit
neat.
bodies.
Are they
Yeah.
kind of irregular domes? Are they kind of bumpy on the surface? Because it looks
I think they're kind of smooth actually. Let's see. There's going to be some photos here through a loop, so you'll be able to see a little bit more. Yeah, there we are. They look like they're fairly smooth.
doesn't look dissimilar from the beach hypoxylon.
Yeah, I thought it was something along those lines. Usually I find some spores with those, but these might be really old. Look at some of them are cracked. You can even see the
Yeah.
surface
Or
is
young.
cracked and
Well,
falling off.
or young, because when they start
Oh,
out, that's when they're really red.
right.
And then they drop their spores and they turn black pretty much. So
Right.
these just might be too young
Huh.
to bear spores.
Interesting. Okay.
But I mean,
Well,
what is it? Hypoxylon fragiform.
Fragiformy. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've identified that in the past. You can usually find spores with these hypoxylon type
Mhm.
things. They're usually really big. These big black things. So I didn't find any though. I tried like 3 times. Okay, so the word Hunter wanted to know the word for those octopus-looking things.
It's Lirellae is the plural.
You know what? I'm going to put it in the chat. The plural of the what those things on that lichen were. I'll put it in the chat. Lir. What was it after lir? Lir. L.
Ellae.
Okay, Lirellae. All right. Okay, it's in there. And I just pushed enter, so now everybody can see. Lirellae. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, yeah, that's not these things. That's not these things, right? That's for that lichen from before that had those octopus-looking things on it. Okay, I think that's it for me, actually.
I believe it is, sir.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this guy, but I just wanted to see what Brandon would say about it. And that pretty much conforms to what my suspicion is some sort of hypoxylon type thing. Okay, thanks.
Those were good. Thank you. Did you want to show your photo, Hunter?
Can someone else go first by any chance?
Does anybody else have anything? Did you have anything, Brandon?
Not really. I don't have any. I went out today, but I don't have any observations uploaded or photos uploaded or anything.
I can go. I can go. I can go.
I'll put some stuff together from past marches. See if there's anything we might want to look at.
Okay. Yeah, I have something on the stove. I just have to like pour it out in just a minute, but we could start. We could start. Unless someone had one thing.
Oh,
I could go.
am I still? Here we go. And then I go to there.
Okay, great. And if you could zoom in on that a lot.
Whoa.
Thank you. Okay, so last week I was feeling pretty bad that I'd forgotten almost everything about microscopy because I hadn't really been doing it. So I pulled out some dry specimens and I did this squash mount on a gill from Chlorophyllum mollibidites. And this is what I got. And I have some questions. Well, first of all, some of the spores were better, but then when it came time to take photos, I couldn't find them. But they were very opiculate, is the word, really sharp opiculates, I think is the word. And at any rate, I couldn't get those, but I got these, and they have the droplets inside, and some of them look like they have more than one, but I might be wrong. But when I was looking at Michael Kuo's site for this mushroom, they didn't seem to have anything in the middle. They were empty. And so I was wondering, is that normal? That they are there sometimes and sometimes not there? And when do they go out and when do they leave, if that's the case?
I'm sorry, Hunter, I missed the beginning of what are these spores from? Do you know what they're from?
Chlorophyllum mollibidites.
Oh,
Green
really?
spore Lepiota. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
From a dried specimen? Must be.
Correct. Mhm. Yeah. I just put a gill under in a droplet of, and my other question is, what chemical do you think this is? Because if you remember, all the labels like got wet on these little bottles I received from out of the country, and so I don't know what any of my chemicals are.
It's not Meltzer's.
Yeah, was it red though? Because
Yes.
it could be a red.
I know it's not Meltzer's because chlorophyllum spores are all strongly dextrinoid. They would be like really purple in Meltzer's.
Oh, okay. I'll have to
maybe
try to
KOH.
figure that out then. I might, yeah, okay, cool. I'll try that.
Because these have pigmented spores. The spore print is green.
Right.
So you would expect that. And these look a little bit tiny greenish. I mean, they're kind of yellowish, right? You had a question about the gutules. So each one of them is showing a gutule. That's the oil drop inside.
Yeah.
In my experience, I don't always see the gutules, but my scope is not great. So maybe my scope's not good enough sometimes. But there's another aspect to this as well. Sometimes it's a question of whether or not you're focused in on the outer wall of the spore, or whether you're focused in a little bit beyond the outer wall, and then you're going to see the gutule better. So sometimes if you just play around with the fine-tuned focus on your microscope, you might be able to see the gutule appear and disappear.
Dave, I think to your point, I think that's probably exactly what's going on here. Is that we're not necessarily looking at a gutule in each one, but more the cell wall.
These look
Oh.
like sort of like cell walls, but boy, those would be really thick cell walls.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I don't think that's reported in chlorophyllum
Yeah,
mollidites.
I don't know whether they're supposed to be thick walled or not.
But you can make
just
out
look up.
another thing that Hunter mentioned was that they're strongly apiculate, right? And you can see the one in the center. You can make out that kind of thick.
Oh yeah,
apiculus
clearly. Yeah,
pretty well.
apiculus is the noun. So that's, and I think the plural is apiculi. So we can see that one apiculus there. It's fairly prominent, and it's a little bit lateral.
Reading
This
from the
sebaceous.
Baroni book, says the spores for this should be ellipsoid or almond shaped. End is truncate, smooth, colorless, thick walled with apical pore.
Okay,
Dextrin-
thick walled.
Yep.
There you
yep.
go.
Dextrinoid, 9 to 13 by 6 to 9 microns.
And this photo right here, that really does look just like a thickened wall.
Yeah,
That's probably what those are, just thickened walls.
thick walled.
Okay.
They're
All
really
right.
thick though.
Yeah, and I mean in quotes, he it looked like his slide was just in water maybe. And so it just had a really different look, although the outer shape was exactly the same, basically.
Yeah, this might be a stain, and I think you're gonna see the thickness of the wall a little bit better in a stain.
I was thinking Congo red or one of the red stains.
Yeah.
Okay, it's definitely red coming out, so yeah, I did purchase that one, so, but I have a couple red ones, so, okay, maybe that's Congo, okay, cool. Yeah, thanks, and I mean, really, I just wanted to try to get on my microscope a little bit, and I did, and, so yeah, so that's, well, and I mean, it's conceivable there's more variation in chlorophyllum than we know. I mean, I'm not saying that's the case here, but that's why I thought I'd share it. Like, you never know, you know?
Sometimes the variably shaped spores is really just a function of variably profiled spores, especially when you're looking at them via a smash mount of tissue, because the tissue, you know, means that you're not getting a real strong seal that's making all the spores lie down. So some of them are going to be like standing up, some of them are going to be leaning. So the shapes will be a little bit different because of that. But that's
Okay.
actually a very good shot, I think.
Yeah, it's a great. That's as good as you want to be for looking at it.
Well, that's good. But of course I didn't go on to the next object. What is it? The
Oh,
lens.
this is 400.
Yeah,
This is,
I
yeah.
didn't do the you know,
oil immersion.
yeah, the oil immersion on the yeah, the objective, the last.
In my opinion, and now people are going to disagree with me on this, I know, but because you're not going to get extremely accurate um, measurements, but you could get a pretty good estimate of the measurements of these spores, the dimensions, and really, if you just put this photo on a laptop and blow it up, everything gets blown up equally, including the reticle, the divisions on the reticle.
That was my next question. Thank you so much. Because, right, okay, perfect. Yes, good. Because, like, right, even if you,
Professionals use 1,000 power, and
yeah,
that's the accepted way of doing it. But especially like, because sometimes I'm looking at a lot of things with my microscope, and even if I had a good enough scope to really utilize 1,000 power, because the one scope I have that's allegedly you can look at 1,000 power, it's not good enough. It doesn't work well enough at that level of magnification. But even if I was able to, it's just it takes time, and there's cleanup, and there's a lot more effort, and it's
yeah, the
so
cleanup.
this is quick, and this is
Very
quick.
sweet.
We've got a really nice photo here. You can get decent estimates. So
Okay.
each line here, each division is going to be 2.5, right? I believe is the I think that's the way this goes, right? Each one is going to be 2.5.
Roughly, yeah, it's a good rule of thumb.
So these are like close to 10 probably,
Okay. And that's
or a little over 10. What does Quo say the dimensions are supposed to be for
9 to
chloroform?
13 long and 6 to 9 wide.
good.
Yeah, I mean, you're right on the pretty well in the lower end of that scale with these. It looks like they're probably about 10 by 6 or 7.
Okay. Well, I don't I mean I kind of like doing the squash mount on a gill section of dried material. Um it's convenient this time of year. I liked it. I'm glad
Yeah,
I
the one disadvantage with getting spore dimensions from tissue is that you're not certain that you're looking at mature spores.
Oh, they did because they didn't drop on their own.
Yeah, and I also like to get ones that drop on a slide, and
right.
because then they sort of lie down more nicely as well. The problem with dropping them on a slide is sometimes you get too many, so you have to try to time it and check your mushroom that's lying down on the slide, and try to time it so you can just barely see when a print is starting to form. So then you're going to have definitely enough spores to move around and see a lot of them, but they're not going to be all like crowding each other and lying on top of one another.
Hmm, that's a good idea. Yeah. Sounds good. All
Cool.
right. Well, thank you for letting me share. I did one other microscopy on dried Lactarius diagnosed gill, I believe it was that. And I again thought it looked a little bit different from Quo's, but I think it's right. I think um, if we can bring it up, I can't really.
You need melters to look at Lactarius or Russula spores.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the ornamentation is amyloid. There's warts that are amyloid,
Oh.
and they don't show up really all that well
I could
unless you
sort of
make them
see
show up.
them, but like, yeah, not the same. Okay. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, if you mount your Lactarius spores in melters, um, the warts will really stand out to the point where you can even get an estimate on how high they are, and whether they're joined together by ridges, and if the ridges form a reticulum, and your scope looks like it's probably good enough where you're going to be able to see this stuff, but you need melters for that.
Nice.
Okay. I'm looking for a new used one, but it's good to hear that maybe I can sell it and get some money. It has so much resistance, the knobs. And unfortunately, that's not what my hand needs. When I've tried other microscopes, they have like zero resistance when turning the fine tuning knobs. But mine has quite a bit of resistance, if you know what I'm saying. And it's not adjustable. And so
Maybe it needs some maintenance. Is there?
well, I mean, I'd be surprised because I mean, I've only had it. I mean, I actually had it for a while, but I mean, I barely used it, you know. It's new. I got it new, and but maybe, like, what do you think? What do you mean?
Maybe it needs some kind of lubrication. I don't know.
Maybe. Oh, that's a possibility. I've actually contacted um the maker. It's Amscope, and they said it's not adjustable, and I would think they would have said, you know, would have said like you can try that, but I'll call and double check because that would be nice. But yeah, so we'll see.
If
But
you're if you're close to a college or a university, then it's likely that the biology department will have someone come in, or maybe they have someone in house who services their microscopes once or twice a year, and so you might be able to find someone to ask in a university or college.
okay, that's good, and I kind of have a line on someone like that, so who I was hoping to, you know, ideally find a different used one, um, but maybe we can just get mine working better for me. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Excellent. So did anybody else have anything they
I had a couple more pictures, Chris.
did
I
you?
Yeah, I only saw, people see anything else? Did people see the Thanos, the Lactarius?
I only got that one, I think.
Oh, I thought there was a link to Mushroom Observer with it, maybe?
I think you showed it a couple of weeks ago or so, like 3 weeks ago, maybe, or something like that. So I remember seeing the
Oh, well,
Arcturus lioness.
No,
yeah,
there's a
no, but,
parasol in the
yeah, the
demo.
parasol, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and Dave commented on it on Mushroom Observer, but I thought I sent, um,
Oh wait, there's one more microscope picture at the bottom here.
yeah, and then there's a link under the first one. I'm seeing it now. Do you see there's also a link under the first microscope picture, and that goes to a
Whoa.
different observation, but we should do the second microscope one first, while we're on that.
All right.
Okay,
I see what's going on here now.
okay,
Oh.
Chris, you're doing great for your first time.
yes.
This is very computery for me. And then, bam.
Yes, you really have to zoom in to see any of this ornamentation. But when you do, like on that second one from the bottom, you can kind of see the bumps, I think. But again, like here, they look like they have those gutters. And then in Michael Quo's, his don't. And they are clearly probably in Meltzer's because they do really have the ornamentation very pronounced. But I guess yeah, and so maybe it's just a cell wall again.
Do you have a in between your light and the stage?
Yeah.
Do you have like adjustment on there should be like a lens in there that the light goes through
Mm-hmm.
with a little piece that'll block out some of the light, and that should go up and down.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know I can turn my light source up and down. I know that. Like
Not
I,
the light source, but
oh,
that lens that's
okay.
in between there. Does that go up and down?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure. It's in the basement. It's in my basement. So, I'll have to take a look.
Because
Maybe.
sometimes when I mess with that, and the amount of light that comes through really changes what you're looking at, like the cell wall or the guttural.
Okay. And so that is, how do you change it? It's knob on the side or something? Or,
Yeah, it's different on every scope. I would. You said
oh.
your scope's new.
Well, I mean, I've really had it for like 4 years, but I've just barely use it
Yeah, but
very.
you bought it new,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so you should have the owner's manual with it.
I sure should, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
do.
sounds like you need to consult your user manual because
Uh-huh.
there there's a ton of buttons. My scope I did not get new, um, so there's a ton of knobs and buttons that you had to Google what they are,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's different on every scope. So I think you should probably find the owner's manual for your particular model, and figure out
Okay.
what each knob does.
Okay. And Chris, what do you know what that is that I'm looking for? What the name for it? This open and closer of the light source, or
Uh, I mean, there's I don't know the exact name of the part,
okay.
but
I'll try
it's
to figure it out.
but it's another little lens, and usually there's a little um part that as you turn the switch, it'll shrink up radially, so you only have this little tiny point of light as opposed to all the light coming through.
Okay.
But
All right.
as you move that around, it'll contrast differently.
It's the condenser, right?
Right, it's the
There
condenser.
it
It
is.
has a little lever, and with each magnification, you have to move that lever to either expand or contract the iris, just like in your camera. Okay,
Okay.
and but that's just one part. The other part is you can move the condenser up and down, and that's going to increase the contrast at each
Right.
magnification. Okay, so it's going to make it's going to change something, not the focus. It's going to change something. It's going to make things a little bit, change the contrast. I cannot explain it. You have to really experiment with that.
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay.
But
Well,
my
Yeah,
that's
and
condenser is not moved up all the way to the top position. It's actually somewhere in between. And when I work at either 400 or 1,000 magnification, I then adjust that distance between the stage and the condenser below it accordingly.
yeah, I like to keep depending on what magnification I'm at, I like to keep that lens. I don't know what that lens is called.
Condenser. It's called condenser.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's another part that's the diaphragm. Is that like the iris that opens and
Yeah,
closes?
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's going to change the amount of light coming through the lens. Yes. Or
So
the condenser, that is.
I like to keep the condenser about halfway between my stage and the light source, the illuminator.
Yeah, it's mobile, so you should be able
okay.
to, play with that adjustment. There's going to be a knob below the stage that's going to adjust the piece that moves the condenser up and down vertically. Okay, so as you look through your ocular, you should be able to move that knob and see how that changes the properties of your image as you see it through the ocular.
Okay, I'll check that out. Thank you.
Right, and then of course at each magnification there is going to be like a little lever on the side that you have to also move. Is going to actually have positions written, times 10, times 40, and times 100 and so forth. So every time you switch your uh, magnification, that carousel with the optics, okay, to the appropriate lens, okay, you should also move that lever on the condenser accordingly.
So
Okay.
Igor, that's the iris, right?
Well,
The
it's
little lever.
yeah, the lever is going to adjust the iris, the pupil. Yes.
And on my scope, it's different than Igor's. Mine's on the front, and it's not a you know you need to set it at 10, 40, or 100. It's a sliding, even sliding, so you can fully adjust it manually uh, to make it brighter or
Yeah, you
darker.
adjust it manually, but it could be, mine moves from, well, in both directions, but the setting for the 1,000 is on the left hand side, so you move that little lever all the way to the left. And if you are like at the lowest magnification, which is 100, then you move it all the way to the right. But again, it could vary from model to model, but pretty much all these microscopes should have that iris lever, to adjust the amount of light coming through the condenser based on the lens setting. Okay, so pull out the manual, and it's very simple. Once you learn it, you'll never forget it.
Okay, well, that's so funny because I mean, I did read the manual when I got it, but it's online, so it's not paper but now I have a old PC in my basement with it, so I can do it like side by side and everything. So I'll do it again, and hopefully it'll stick.
By the way, if you look at Lactarius thionos on Mycological, they have some really, really nice pictures of spores.
Oh, cool.
Michael Quo's pictures, quite frankly, it's not that good. And I don't even know if he mounted in Meltzer's, to be honest with you. But you can see on the Mycological pictures, you can see the really, really dark ornamentation. And that's the Meltzer's changing the ornamentation to pretty much black.
Another thing I want to mention in passing, if you ever been to Rutgers, their microscopy lab, I mean, we have classes sometimes and we rent their space. They have like Olympuscopes and they're more advanced. And I read that for that particular, not particular scope, but that particular design that Olympus has, and maybe other brands as well, each time you sit down at the microscope, you should also calibrate something for each lens every time you do work. And I have actually written a manual many, many years ago on that procedure, and I have to dig it out and see. But for the kind of scopes that we have, that procedure is not applicable. I'm pretty sure of that. But
Oh,
yeah, I'll next time we talk about microscopy, I should be able to talk about a little aspect of calibration, but it has nothing to do with the stage micrometer. It's something else.
oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that basically it seems like the scope's doing a good enough job, so that's good. So I caught this Parasola, and then Dave suggested Tulosessus,
Yeah, I'm
and
not sure how to say it. Tulosessus, Tulocesis. It's a fairly new genus that's split off of Coprinellus. And the mushrooms in Tulocesis look kind of like a cross between Coprinellus and Parasola. And they don't deliquesce all that much. They'll dry out, whereas like a Coprinopsis would deliquesce, turn to ink. I think you're
Yeah.
probably right. I think these are Parasola. And the one trait that I
really?
noticed was on the one that's showing the underside,
Yeah.
the gills are, if we can enlarge that photo
Yeah. Can we
and look
zoom
at
in?
the underside there, look at how free those gills are. And there's like a collar, the ends of the gills form like a collar. And I think that's primarily a Parasola trait.
Okay. And
I think you're probably right.
and they're growing on wood, which I mean, I didn't find in my brief search any species that really said they did that, but I didn't look at Mycological and I should have, and so I'll look further in both genuses, but you don't think that Tulocesis has this characteristic,
I
huh?
don't know the genus well enough, really.
Okay, I'll look
Most
into
of the mushrooms are pretty small. They look like Parasola. Some of them look a little more like Copernellus. Um, I think these are Parasola. I think you're probably
Okay.
right.
Maybe.
If we
That's-
zoom out, is there a younger kind of orange? Yeah, further down the
Yeah.
stick there. Is that the same
Oh
thing?
yeah, there's a button in the back. Yep.
Yep.
And that could be either Tulocesis or Parasola. They have both genera have buttons. Some of the species at least have buttons that look like that, small
There's
yellow.
another one down there. A couple more coming up here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice those.
I think it's a
Uh-huh.
pretty interesting looking mushroom, especially the underside is really cool. This is old. This is from my mushrooms to ID file. Oh, and so this would be like black, probably black spores, or right?
Either genus is going to have black spores,
Yeah.
black spores.
Okay.
Now, sometimes Copernellus, I think Copernellus, I might be thinking of Satharella, I'm not sure. But sometimes there are some spores that are not pigmented, so you'll see them under the scope. They look like they're just clear. You'll just see the wall, and that's it. But
Okay.
I don't know what significance that has really. This wood is probably really rotten.
For sure. Yeah.
Probably almost, but it's like virtual mulch probably.
Yeah. It's
Because
hardly.
Parasola mushrooms, they grow like in gardens and mulch and where there's wood chips. And some of them grow on dung.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I did notice it's not like a really solid log or anything. Yeah, okay. All right, oh, cool, thanks. Thanks for letting me share. Oh, good,
Thanks for sharing.
my pleasure.
All right. Did anybody else have anything? Oh, lilacs.
Island.
Yeah, I have old stuff that I probably showed last year, but none of us will probably remember seeing it. Or maybe we will when we start to look at it. While we were chatting, I filtered and brought some up, so I don't care. Brandon, you said you had a similar kind of a thing too, to look back.
Yeah, nothing worth sharing, really.
All right. Well, since we got time, let me pull up here and share something. Actually, these pictures are pretty good, I think. Let's see. All right, Cerena unicolor.
Oh,
Yay.
So let's see, I gotta
Cool pick.
find my arrows here. Yeah, so I just love this mazy underside, and I think I have a better picture, but the hairy cap surface too, and interesting how where it's attached to the substrate, which was white birch, this interesting elongation over there, and then it juts out with these caps. So it's pretty interesting. There it is on the birch. And it seemed to grow in these little clusters of little shelves, little brackets, but they were clustered together, which I thought was kind of interesting. That's what caught my eye.
Lila, does it only grow on birch, or are there other trees it grows on?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Just to look it up and see.
Hardwoods. Occasionally,
Hardwood.
no, it can be found on conifer too.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this was kind of a cool shot because you can see some of the maziness underside, and then look at all those hairs. It's just loaded with hairs on the top. So I don't know when these grew, if these, this was March of 2023. I can't imagine they grow that much in the winter, but maybe they did. I don't know. More look at the maize.
I found it last year for like the first time, same time of year. It was it might not have even, yeah, it was probably the first week in March.
Okay. Anyway, I thought that was
Awesome.
that was a little bit interesting. It seemed to be in good condition.
Yeah, I wonder how the hairy caps would even persist over time.
Yes.
They look too,
Too good.
yeah.
Yeah. Just a nice shape. So
It's very up.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a dried specimen of this in my basement, and it's really still very, very hairy still, and neat.
All right. So what else? Phlebia radiata. At least that's what I think this is. This was, wow, look at the color here.
Gorgeous.
Whoa.
Yeah, just the texture and the color was kind of pretty outstanding.
I have no idea. I mean, I guess that could be Phlebia radiata.
Well, look, it's radiating.
It is radiating for sure.
Yeah. That's a nice one.
It certainly is in that one. Look at that. Is that outer edge just like the reflex off of the?
Yeah, it gets out to the edge and then it curls up at the edge. So it's a little bit like a saucer. Then it lifts up off of the tree.
Was that facing down or up?
This was a year ago, so I don't know. We'll look at see if I wrote any notes on this. I don't know if this was a stick I found on the ground or what. I don't remember. But I was quite, no, it must have been on the ground because here it is on the ground. Probably an piece of oak. But yeah, it was covering quite a bit of the stick. And then here, I think I was trying maybe to get the edge where it curled up. Some kind of a lichen there. I don't know what that is. Oh, these were older ones that had lost the redness and were drying out. So
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to my comment. It could absolutely be radiata, but this is not the way radiata ages.
okay.
Is there a colloquial name for this?
I don't think so. I don't know. And there are a bunch of Phlebia, and a lot of them also radiate from a central point. So radiata got the name, but several of them
Each exhibit that trait a bit. Yeah. Okay.
Phlebia rufa is another one. That's
it's-
less likely to be radially arranged, but I have seen examples of it. These are less wrinkled. They're more ridges, kind of. I don't even know how to describe that kind of structure.
Seen this in my grandmother's kitchen. Minced
Yeah,
meat.
yeah. Looks
yeah, kind of ropey. Yeah, I don't know. I was quite taken with it. It looks like I took a lot of pictures of it, so it was captivating for sure.
and it can go both ways. Like Phlebia radiata is not always radially aligned. There are other Phlebias that are also radially aligned. This is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I saved it. I'll have to. I know roughly where I found it last year. I'll have to look.
It looks. I guess the best descriptor that leads me away from radiata. Like radiata is normally pretty thin. This thing
Mhm.
looks pretty thick, right?
Yeah, yeah, it has some.
And it could certainly be radiata, like I said.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's an
Okay.
interesting one.
Okay. All right, thanks. Did I make any notes? No, I made no notes about it. All right. Okay. All right, well, I'll see if I can do anything more with it. If I could find it again, that would help. This one, I think it's old, but yeah, it's a real old one, but it's kind of interesting how it grows in these thick, heavy overlapping caps.
Nice.
And Bianca, Phlebia radiata does have a colloquial name, the wrinkled crust.
That's not helpful.
Yeah. All right. So there's that one. But yeah, this one's actually pretty example of it, but
What is this?
Wanda.
Globo Fomes or whatever? Globio,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Fomes, graveolens or whatever.
Oh,
Graveolens.
Oh, it's foamy. It's back to foamy. Good.
Oh, it
Maybe.
is? Oh, that's
Maybe, I
right.
don't know. This is INAT. They're not always up to date, so. Sweet.
Actually,
sweet
INET's been getting better
Mhm.
at being up to date.
Okay.
At least it seems like that to me.
Well, I know they did a bunch of the foamies went back to foamies. I think this thing used to when I first looked it up, it was Dave. Was it Globo foamies?
Yeah,
something?
I think it was like a genus with just it.
Yeah.
Globo, something like that.
No, it was Globifomis
Globifomes.
Yeah.
Oh,
with an I. Yeah.
okay. Is there anything else? Some lichens. Well, these are always fun to see, so I'll just put it up quick. Neofavolus americanus, maybe. Looks like it's on beach, and maybe there is some diatrite fluorescens there at one point.
Yeah, I think Steve Russell has a few coded names for these. I'm not sure how many.
What always comes back to the, is this thing white or was it an orange thing that faded?
Right. Yeah, I'm guessing that this one was more on the white side, but who knows? Finding it in March, hard to say. But I just love those the pore shape. I think that's cool.
Yeah, never get tired of that.
Yeah.
What did you name it?
I called it Neofavolus americanus.
Oh, okay. Is that the white one?
Yes.
Okay.
If I believe so. This is from a year ago, so.
Yeah, it looks to me different from the alveolaris or whatever. The pores look really big.
Yeah, the orange one, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
It's nice.
All right, I showed enough. I'll stop.
Wow.
If nobody has anything else, I sent another email with one observation from a few years ago that was made in March. That's a really cool ASCO that I've only seen once.
I will grab it.
Yeah, so from afar, this doesn't look like much. It just looks like some crust, but well, I don't want to seem biased against crust.
Ah,
But when you look at this
Slow down.
closely, it's really cool. So I've got a series of photos as usual where I just get a little bit closer and a little bit closer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wait until you see the real close-ups. Oh, that one's pretty far. That's the log it was on. Let me see. Oh, there we go. I probably should have edited this, made it a little lighter. I think there might be one more that's. Oh yeah, okay, it's starting to show up now. It's actually these little this tangle of little. Let's see if there's one more photo because I think one of these I think you can see pretty well, but you might have to enlarge it. See if there's another photo.
whoa.
Oh yeah, yeah. You see, it's like these
Wow.
like plates that are shaped like um. What's the word I want here? It's like this tangle of these plates, and this is an ASCO. I think you might be able to enlarge one of those photos and see it better.
Oh,
So there's an assaye. And
oh, wait a minute. Let's try this one.
Yeah, that
yeah,
one
try,
looks
try
pretty.
this one. See what? Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's the one I was thinking of. Look at like these little like bent, elongated plates, and they're all tangled together. So I think this was on oak, probably.
That is so wild.
Yeah, that's a strange one, isn't it?
Could you begin to see that with the naked eye or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You have to look very closely. When I first saw this, I just thought it was like I said, I thought it was some crust, but I did notice while I was in the woods. Maybe I took a photo and looked at the photo on my camera. I forget. This was, I think, 3 years ago.
Dave, what's the name you're using for this thing?
I think it's Angelina rufa or something like that.
Angelina, cool.
I think that's the name. What do I have there?
Angelina rufescens.
Rufescens, okay. And it's pretty unmistakable, really, unless if there's something else that looks just like it, that I don't know about.
Well, I never heard of this thing before, but
That's a strange one.
yeah, it's really cool. There's a couple things that I've seen kind of compared in this vein, but yeah, that doesn't. It's not this thing. This is awesome.
Yeah, I think I found this on March 20th. I think that's the day because I just looked at it myself. Those are the acai. The last thing was the spores.
And what did you say you found it on? Probably hardwood, underside of a
Yeah, I
hardwood.
think it's on. It was on hardwood. It was in a mostly oak forest, and it was a great big log that was not well decayed, but had no bark on it. And usually that means the wood is pretty hard, so it was probably like oak. It was probably oak. There's a lot of oak in that forest.
Say the genus one more time. How do you spell that?
I think it's Angelina. I think it's Angelina. I think
Yeah.
it's written down here.
And then Rufescens.
Yeah, because
Looks like there's
Angelina's not helping me much.
okay. It came up for me. It looks like there's like 146 observations only on INAT.
Oh, that's all. That's a pretty small number for
Very
INAT.
small. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to put this on INAT. I forgot about this one. I just thought of it now, actually.
There's
I need to put this on
147.
INAT so we put it on the Pennsylvania list because I don't know if anybody has found this in Pennsylvania. Well, probably John Plishke did. He finds everything. But,
Yeah, I think Bigelow might. Does Bigelow
Tom
have
Bigelow, but that would be in New Jersey or New York.
Mhm.
And so we're trying to compile a Pennsylvania list of species that have been found in Pennsylvania with confirmed observations. This was not sequenced, but I can't see where I don't know of anything else that looks like this.
I think it's beautiful.
So cool.
Yeah, it's a nice one. I'm glad I thought of it. It just occurred to me now.
Yeah, I'm
So
glad.
yeah, all the observations are from the east. Oh, that's not true. There's one in Wisconsin, 2 or 3 in Michigan, but they're mostly in the east. Yeah, northeast, east. Neat. I want to find it.
I knew I had seen it. I just found a Bigelow observation. That was what I was trying to rack my mind trying to find because I knew I had seen this before. But Tom's found it a couple times.
Yeah, in the
Wow,
parks in
cool.
Metro New York, there's great big oak trees in a lot of the parks, and I imagine that might be where Tom and some of the other New York people have found it.
Yeah, and just kind of going through the taxonomy of the thing. I guess once you get up to Leodiomyces, the class, which is really, really big, the order and the family, I don't recognize in any way. So it's a cool find for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I've been in this area recently, maybe 2 weeks ago, but it was probably too early for anything to be out. And I have no idea how fresh this stuff was when I found it. We've had some pretty warm winters here. Not this past one. It was very cold here for January and February, so everything's back to square one this spring. But who knows when this fruited? I observed it on the 20th, but who knows when it actually started. And I've been back to this area, and I look on these logs all the time because there's a trail goes right through this area where these oaks are, and there's these big logs on the ground. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it since then.
Yeah,
Looks-
cool
looks-
find, cool share. Thanks.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share one thing, not so much for the thing, but for the color. This is the thing my eyeball is looking for now.
Mm.
That rust orange.
Yeah, it looks like it's dropping down on the leaves there. Interesting. It's all over.
Oh, is it what is this?
This is the one on the roses.
Multiflora rose.
Oh,
I just love that orange color of all the rusts seem to be, whether it be the mayapple or this or
Oh, this is the invasive one, multiflora rose. Nasty one.
oh yeah, terrible. That stuff's terrible.
that orange color. It'll be all over in no time.
Is that recent,
Look at
Chris?
multiflora rose. We have it on our property.
Last year in April, end of April.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Does anybody else have anything to share?